What's happening, everyone? Welcome back. I haven't saw you all for a few hours. You might have caught me this morning. I woke up really early. I was like, all right, I'm going to do a stream. I'm going to talk about the new era of PulseChain. That's exactly what I talked about. That's pretty good information. I think I tried to put together just some of the changes and some of the the green candle effect, some of the other stuff going on in the ecosystem. So check that out. I streamed this morning. Had technical difficulty. I swapped out a little bit of hardware to get a slightly better setup. So I've got the bugs out this morning, and hopefully, knock on wood, this one goes well. No technical difficulties, but got a couple, three gentlemen in the green room already. Like I said, as usual, this is the 13th open mic. So I dropped the StreamYard link in the chat. Anyone want to come up? I just ask that you turn your video on if I don't know you already, or you're not known for not having video, for example. If you want to come up and we can talk about whatever you want in the community otherwise. And yeah, we'll probably go for 45 minutes to an hour or so. Got three founders, two from ProjectPi, and then one fast gentleman from 2Fucks. So we'll be talking about that. And like I said, StreamYard link is in the chat. Anyone else want to come up? First, if you do decide to come up while people are going, we got a queue right now. So those two. And then if we get too many people, we'll play the game, the fun game of where you guess the magic number and then you get to leave if you guess the number. I like the game. We don't get to play it too often. Usually I don't have that many people on open mic, but today we're getting pretty full, even so far. So pretty cool. Anyways, let me talk to the chat real quick. Fast Abdul, he's already talking the bribes spec there. The brides, the B's, the D's, all the stuff. What's up, Red Squirrel? On top of it, you know what? I schedule these streams way ahead of time, so it's usually not my fault. I'm going to say that. I'm not blaming anyone else, but it's usually not my fault. Someone else is streaming, I usually schedule them ahead of time, or at least I have them on my mind scheduled ahead of time. So I'll take that. Steve, what's happening, man? Good to see you. We'll see you soon. See you tomorrow. We'll get to hang out. Local Hexagon meetups. That's the name of the game, man. Good stuff. And then Bright Light, what's up? Astro. We got people in the back. Anyways, I'll get to chat in a bit. If you guys have any questions, we'll go over it. And without further ado, let's bring the gentleman in. We got Vandal, Fast Abdul, and Chris Powell. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Welcome to the show. I think all three of you first timers, first time on the show. Yeah, we don't get that all the time, so very cool. Yeah, you guys want to give maybe a quick introduction for people? We'll start from top to bottom with Vandal. Like, how'd you get in the community? How'd you find out about all this stuff, and what brings you here today?
Yeah, sure. For those who don't know me, my name is Vandal, likewise Van on Twitter. Known about HEX since 2019. I've actually soon going to be ending my stake. Known about Richard Hart in the community. Very passionate about blockchain technology. Been in it since 2017. Obviously, I'm here in Atlanta Blockchain Center where I met my co-founder, Chris. We started out building physical nodes and pivoted over to RPC services. And then we saw that PulseChain was actually lacking liquid staking. So we actually are going to be building that. And I see Steve. Hey, what's up? We met on the cruise. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Awesome. And Chris?
Hey, how's it going? I'm Christopher Powell. I, again, like Van said, met him at the Atlanta Blockchain Center. We discussed blockchain nodes. He was working at MailChimp. I was working at, and I'm still working at a company, an Oracle company similar to Chainlink, where they do Oracle nodes. And, just looking at his screen, just noticing he was working with Docker. I was like, man, let's make something. So he's, super quick to just go and do stuff. So he was like, all right, let's make it. And so we just came up with the name of the company and just went from there the same day. And, like you said, we pivoted a few times, but from there went from RPCs to actually being able to make, RPCs, as well as still keep the hybrid approach with physical nodes and also do liquid staking for PulseChain. But as far as myself, I too have been in blockchain since 2017. I started the journey with just getting on Twitter, following people, talking about it all the time until I found an actual physical place in 2022, and it was the Blockchain Center. And here I am today.
Awesome. and the man with the most prestigious bookcase in the screen right now. Joel.
Thank you very much. Well, Max, a lot of people think in the PulseChain community that I've been around forever, just because I'm in all the Telegram rooms and I'm an admin in some of the big ones and stuff like that. But it's actually not true at all. I didn't get into crypto till nearly the top of the last bull market. Like, got in at Bitcoin 50K or something like that. And my first experience in DeFi was sacrificing for PulseX, I believe. Literally my first non-Binance type experience. Before that, I was working with like trading bots and stuff on Binance and other centralized exchanges. But once I found DeFi, once I got into that, I've never gone back. Like my Binance account's gone dormant. And, the community with the Pulse chain, it's like, wow, this is everything. It's obviously so different from everything else in crypto. So I'm here, I'm staying, and I'm building with my partner Yellowcake, who actually is a OG day one hexagon. And we're building 2Fux, which is a fork of Convex for the Pulse chain.
Awesome, yeah, and we'll get into more about the sacrifice going on and a bunch of other details too. But let's start with ProjectPi. I'll put it on the screen just so you guys can kind of walk through it. But yeah, whoever wants to take it, we can get into that, and then afterwards, Fast Abdul will grace us with his quick wit and humor and details about the pretty interesting 2Fux project as well. I'm interested in both these projects, validators. Everyone knows I wrote the validator scripts and help people do that. I wanted people in the community doing that, so that was interesting. And then 2Fux LP providing and pulling of LP stuff too is pretty interesting too. So curious to hear more about that. But yeah, Chris, Vanda, you guys want to just kind of give us an introduction? What is the project? And kind of details about, is there a token? Is there hardware involved? What does that have to do with pulse chain validating?
Yeah, I can go ahead and start. Yeah, so just a little bit of background on ProjectPi. We started building with Raspberry Pi, so that's where it came from, building physical nodes here at the Atlanta Blockchain Center. With our protocol with liquid staking, it is a very similar to Rocket Pool. So we do have validators. We'll be building it, as well as third-party validators. You could be part of it. Anyone can be part of it. And basically how it works is it's going to be 1/4 of the staking of the pulse. So instead of having your 32 million pulse, all you're going to need is the 8 million. And on the liquid staking side, you need the 24 million pulse. They come together, and that's how you start the pool.
Okay, and is it something that is it released yet? Are y'all still building it? Can you talk about a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're still building it out. You can go to our docs right there. Everything is there for the tokenomics. We do have our own token called PPY, which is ProjectPi Yield. And on the liquid staking side, it's just going to be ST Pulse to make it very, very easy. When we were on the cruise, we did have it Pi Pulse, but I think just to make it easier for people, we just made it ST Pulse. We have our tokenomics there. The total supply is going to be 314 million. We're actually going to be releasing early staking soon. So you can go ahead and go to our hub.projectpi.xyz. And once we do announce that, you can start early staking and start getting yield of your PPY token once that's out. And yeah.
And what is so maybe go through some reasons why people, wouldn't just spin up their own validator, and why would they go through, kind of, I guess, delegated, maybe explanation of like how this works versus normal validating too.
Yeah. So like, as well as other people in the scene, becoming a validator can be very technical. We do have scripts like yours and David Fedder's. So we also do provide physical hardware as well too for our validators. So with that, it's just more on the more technical side. You have to set it up, go through all the processes and all that. We will be building a script where it's going to be 100% executable. So when you purchase on node, you just physically plug it up, click the icon executable on your node, and everything is running. And once we do have our full liquid staking protocol ready, we're going to ask you to prompt if you'd like to be a validator node with doing that. So that would make it very seamless and easy. Now with the liquid staking side, if you don't have the funds to be a validator, you can just be a liquid staker, have just 1 pulse or 10 million pulse. You can stake that, pull together with the 8 million validators plus the 24, start doing that. And the cool thing with liquid staking, what most people know is when you do stake your token, it's locked up. But with liquid staking, you're going to get your ST pulse, and you could be able to use it like any other token, buy, sell it, trade it, and put in other DeFi protocols.
And this versus Rocket Pool, can you talk about the difference between those?
Yeah, it's very, very similar to Rocket Pool. Again, if people don't know, it's on Ethereum. They're actually one of the very first people to do that. Very similar. They have the RPO token. We have our HT Pulse token, and PulseChain being a fork of Ethereum. It's very, very similar. It's just basically how we did it. It's just going to make it a lot cheaper and easier for people to go on our protocol. Because again, once everything is fully built out, it's going to be very seamless integration to where you can have your own physical node hardware, or you can just use our cloud services where you just spin up a node and we go over that, or you have your token and it's deposited that.
Yep. And then one other add on is with Rocket Pool, instead of the 16 million ETH to be a validator, we'll make it to where it's actually a fourth. So instead of a half with Rocket Pool, it's going to be a fourth of the amount of tokens, PulseChain tokens.
Gotcha. And as far as I know it's not completely bid out yet, but it sounds like if you go to Project Hub, what happens? Is there something there now, or otherwise you can walk us through the process of how you would actually, looks like, create a Pi pool. Can you walk us through just how somebody would actually use it once it's live?
Yeah, for sure. So if you scroll up a little bit, you can actually just click, create a Pi pool. So you do that, you would have your node ID, and then you click next. So obviously, we're just kind of going through the process. And then after that, you would basically go ahead and stake your Pulse to get your PPY token and deposit it, and then you're up and running. Obviously, we'd be pulled together with the liquid stakers, and then people will be getting yield on their PPY token. So very simple, very easy, 4 clicks, and you're up and running.
And is it a fork of anything, or is all this new code?
Yeah, so it's very similar to Rocket Pool. The UI is a fork of GoGo Pool. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. That's on the Avalanche. So we are using that, but for the most part, it's using the same mechanisms for the liquid staking derivatives as Rocket Pool.
Gotcha. Got a couple questions in the chat. We'll start with this one. Have there been audits? If so, how many? Was anything flagged?
Yeah, so we're still building it out. We will be doing audits and all that. Everything will be transparent. So if you go to our documentation for our tokens utility, our contracts, everything will be audited. Again, so far we're building it out. Our early staking will be here fairly soon. And then also, if you look at our tokens and utility, we will have a fundraising. It's not necessarily a sacrifice like most people do on the PulseChain community, but we have it very structured with the tokenomics and everything like that. So if you want to be part of the seed on a private round, you can do that. Or again, when we have early staking up and running, you can do that. And then once all that's copacetic, we will have a public sale to where anyone can purchase the token, the PPY token.
Yeah, maybe go through the structure too of the token distribution and how people could acquire them. You mentioned a couple of pieces, but can you walk through that?
Yeah, again, if you go to our docs, you can look at tokens and utilities. So as of right now, once early staking is out, you'll basically be able to stake as many pulses as you want. And how basically we have the tokenomics is distributed every day, and it's going to be a 90-day cycle. So once that 90-day ends, and once the token is out, you will be either be able to claim the token or airdrop the token, or likewise, you can just become part of the fundraising, but buy that, and once the token's out, you get that token as well too. So if you go in the documents, you can see tokens and utility on the side, right above, right there. And that basically has a structure of everything, how it all works, the ST Pulse, the PPY, and also the structure of all the tokenomics. So if you're scrolling down a little bit, you can see for the early staking incentives, it's going to be 3.14% out of all of that. So that's going to be part of the early staking. And if you keep scrolling down, we have all the token gated events, all that stuff. So one thing that we harped on is we wanted to make sure that our tokenomics was very, very good. Being in the Atlantic Blockchain Center, we were in the incubator program. So we've been mentored and incubated by Marlon Williams, as well as other people in the industry who have been in the blockchain industry since day one, 2009 in Bitcoin. So then again, everything will be audited, and the early staking will be very soon.
And can you go through the tokenomics a little bit? Just I imagine a lot of people are interested in the fundamentals. Like how have you designed it? Is there any advantages versus Rocket Pool or other solutions to any advantages for this on PulseChain? The way you've just talked about the tokens or the anything to get people excited about as far as game theory goes?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest advantages, and Chris can talk about it more, is just getting in early as well as cheap. when PulseChain first launched and you want to be a validator, once that sacrifice price, it was almost $6,000 to get a, your 32 million pulse to become a validator. So, purchasing your validator, setting everything up, and getting the 32 million pulse was very close, up to $10,000. With the fundamentals, basically, you're getting it very early, you're getting out the true price, and how we have our tokenomics is once it is up and operational, it's going to be under it's going to be roughly about 700, 800K market cap. So basically, we have a lot of time for growth. And if everything goes according to plan, if you keep scrolling down for the initial circulating supply, you can see the price of the token and everything as well as that. So within 3 months, if you are part of the fundraising, just stagnant, like the price doesn't go up, you basically get your money back within two to 3 months. But with our calculator that we're going to be having soon, with the the pump methods that we talk about, it can be very, very, very lucrative, and we're very excited for liquid staking to be on PulseChain.
I'm more excited. I would say one thing to also add on is that the early staking that we're actually going to be launching very soon will be very amazing for individuals that want to get into PPY, which would be the collateral token for the actual staking. So, being able to get into that would be important because this is like you're essentially going to be in before even the seed round. Like you have an opportunity to earn our token just by locking up PulseChain tokens. You earn PLS there. You can pull out anytime if you want to, but that would be a way to also be able to earn our token without having to actually purchase during the seed round. So there's a lot of exciting stuff when it comes to essentially what we're doing.
Gotcha. Another question here, Davis, will the staking have admin keys? Yeah, can you talk a little bit about decentralization and the spectrum of that with this project?
Yeah, no admin keys. Everything's gonna be transparent. Once our protocol is out, we are reaching to have everything ready by 3/14 March. March 14th, Pi Day.
It's like that rings a bell. That rings a bell.
Yeah, so everything's gonna be it's gonna be transparent, no admin keys. It's gonna be basically we have a Guardian address, multi-sig wallet address, as well as a Pi DAO. And once we have basically a community of our own validators, third-party validators, and liquid staking, you'll be able to vote on certain aspects of the governance of the PPY token to say like, hey, let's inflation for this or certain things like that. But yeah, no admin keys.
Gotcha. So with regular validators, you spin one up, you earn PLS as rewards. You earn it as in fees, either from you got extra fees that get sent to whatever wallet. You have the fees from the network get sent to a wallet. Maybe it can be the same, whatever. But you're earning PLS. So with this project, you're earning. Maybe talk about that a little bit too. What are you earning exactly when you deposit the PLS?
Yeah, for sure. As of right now, the only way to really gain yield on your pulse is becoming a validator. And, a lot of people don't have the technical know-how to do that. So, of course, you being a validator, you'll be still getting your pulse, but you'll also be earning the PPY token. As well as a liquid staking side, a lot of people just have pulses sitting here, like I do as well, too. I am a validator, so I do get rewards from that. But just the pulse that I just have sitting in my wallet would be cool if I could just stake it, get a derivative token, ST Pulse, and be able to buy, trade it, buy more Pulse, buy HEX, and put it on the DeFi protocol. So it's a win-win on both sides for the validator side because it's only 1/4 needed instead of the 32 million. You get the 8 million. Vice versa, if you don't want to be a validator or you don't have the technical know-how or you just don't have the funds, you can just deposit it via liquid staking and get ST Pulse and pool together with a validator and get rewards that way.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm trying to look for any other questions in the chat. Davis, I guess. Oh, go ahead, fast.
I was just wondering why you guys decided to go with the number of 8 million pulse. Like there's, like you've chosen Rocket Pool essentially to work with as your base. Like there's Lido, Stater, a couple other similar products. And, some of them would go with a proportionately, of course, we're going from Ethereum to PulseChain. So the numbers dollar-wise are lower, but some of them would go to a proportionally lower number. Like why not 4 million pulse, 2 million pulse to be a node operator?
Yeah, great question. Basically how we have with the tokenomics and seeing how everything is, a lot of things like you mentioned, like Lido, Rocket Pool, etc. Rocket Pool and a lot of the other ones is just half. We basically decided to do a quarter, 8 million pulse just due for the tokenomics, and with the SAC rate, and let's just say pulse does go up a substantial amount. We still want it to be everyone to be a part of the validator and get the pulse chain and get the rewards from that, because we don't want people to be outpriced, just like how just to be an Ethereum validator you need 32 ETH, which during the boom was astronomical. So it's just a win-win on both sides, for the validator side and as well as the people who just want to just stake their pulse so they can earn yield of that without just sitting there.
Okay, but that said, like, why can't it be a lower number? Why couldn't it be 3 million, 2 million pulse?
That's a good question. Again, with the tokenomics how we have it, it just wouldn't really make sense to do that, because how we have it paired, and it is in our documentation with the 8 million pulse on the other side for the regular person is the 24. Now, if we were to go to like 2 million pulse or 1 million pulse, it just, the way we have it set up and the way we have the smart contracts, it wouldn't be lucrative and profitable for the validators at that point.
Okay.
Because how we have it set up.
Yeah, well, that's very relevant. Yeah, good answer. Thank you.
Another question here in the chat. Have you guys been a part of any other projects that have succeeded or failed?
Project that we've built or project that we've invested in or are proud of, I'm not sure but I guess I can answer both. Doing the bull run, I was actually really into NFTs. I was part of multiple plethora projects that failed and succeeded. Definitely learned a lot. And one thing I did learn, that community is everything, and that's what we love. The Hexkins, the PulseChain community. Community is great. Met a lot of you guys in person. And I think even if you do have a great product, it's always good to know the founders, what they're doing, see them in person, and also have a community to support that. Now, if you're talking about, actual projects that, we've done, ProjectPi is the first one we've had. We've had early success selling our nodes via pre-search. But, don't want to talk about that, here for PulseChain. But again, we're here for the community. Just like Max and David Fetter, we have our own nodes as well to provide for others. Just providing a protocol that will help the, anyone and everyone who wants to be part of the ecosystem in order to gain yield on their pulse.
Another actually good segue to this question. When you pull to run a validator, who's running the node hardware? Random person, or is it hosted by you?
Yeah, great question. So first, when we're starting off, it's going to be mostly just us. And we can you can go to GoPulse and see all the other stuff like David Fritter with the validator store. If someone who does want to be a validator will basically see their reputation score and just seeing how if the uptime of their node, and if anyone like Max or Fast or anyone else who wants to be a third-party validator can be part of the pool. As of right now, we would be the ones running it, and then people who buy our nodes or have their own hardware can do that. But I wouldn't say any random person can do it. We definitely want to make sure that slashing doesn't happen, and if someone they pull together, there's the incentives are going to be great for both parties, the validators and the regular staker.
Your hardware, is it like all physical hardware, or are you running in the cloud?
It's a hybrid. So it's a hybrid node as a service. We do build our own hardware services here in the Atlanta Blockchain Center. Depending, we can do Intel, AMD. We have the specs out, but it's a hybrid approach. Obviously, we want to go more of the physical, for this decentralization. We have it dispersed all around Atlanta. It's soon actually going to be in universities like Georgia State University as well too, and doing partnerships with other people. But we're pushing for more physical hardware. We do have cloud if people want to go that route, but I would say 85 to 90% of our infrastructure is all physical.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's definitely, we talked about this before as a concern for PulseChain. A good concern is when the pulse price gets so high, what are you going to do to be a validator? We're going to run the same thing ETH does, right? Like it's crazy expensive to be Ethereum validator. Right now, it's only affordable because pulse price is so low, relatively speaking. So I think in some shape or form, I think staking projects are going to be. Well, I mean, that's the only thing. It's like either Rocket Pool or other projects that are doing similar type things, or we fork the network. Like Richard's like, all right, it's just it's too damn high to be a validator. We gotta change it, and we run new clients and stuff. There's kind of only the two practical options I could think of. So we'll see which projects are successful, and definitely, I imagine there'll be some winners. There'll be some projects where, you know, clearly a lot of people are using the tokenomics and stuff will come into play. You know, the trustworthiness and the longevity and stuff. I think it'll take some time, but so just remind everyone too. You said 3/14 is that the launch date, or what was that special date?
Yeah, that's what we're pushing for. Again, early, you know, we want to have early staking before, I would say latest end of month, January, early February. You know, again, we're still coding the smart contract. We want to get that audited. And this is for people who just have Pulse sitting here. They don't know how to run a validator, or they already have multiple validators. They want to go into our program and start ordering yield in the PPY token. But for, you know, having everything set up for, you know, the whole liquid staking derivative protocol, we wouldn't want that out to the public by March 14th. That's our goal, to have everything set up. Could be earlier, could be later, but that's what we're aiming for.
That is Pi Day. That is the day I enjoy eating pie on. I enjoy eating pie every day. I can, but definitely 3/14. Awesome. Anything else to tell people before going to 2 fucks, gentlemen?
Just a quick question about your hardware, guys. I can see on your website you're advertising there's a buy now option for an interesting looking hardware package for a node. Is there a price tag that's going to come up with that?
Yeah, it's $16.99. So I see you're on on it now. So if you scroll down and buy now, it should bring up a Coinbase Commerce. It's basically, you're going to have the physical node, the operating system's already installed. So essentially, let's just say Fast, you ordered it, you would come to your house, you have the node, you plug up your keyboard, you plug up your mouse, plug up your monitor, turn it on, type in your password, and the password will be given to you via email or text message or DM. You would click an executable on your screen, and you have the option just to be a regular validator, deposit your 32 million, or wait for our protocol to be built out to have your 8 million. And we would suggest is like, hey, if you already have 32 million Pulse, just go ahead and do early staking, so you're getting yield on that. And then once we have everything up and running, you just take that 8 million, become a validator on our side, and then you're good to go.
It's pretty cool. Well done, lads.
Really cool.
Yeah. Thank you. So it looks like there's at least two pieces to this, and let me know if I'm missing one, but there's you have the kit, so hardware kit. You can choose whether to participate in ProjectPi, and I guess delegate your validating, or you can just become regular validator, you know, earn it all yourself, do all that stuff. And then, so that's two pieces. Is there a third piece to ProjectPi, or is that the two main pieces?
Yeah, I would say the first piece is that, you know, just becoming a regular validator. But I would say once our protocol is up and operational, it would, you know, if you want to buy a node, again, you know, you just have the 8 million Pulse to delegate, and vice versa. If you want to just buy a node just to support the Pulse chain, you know, security and all that stuff, you can definitely do that. Or again, if you just have Pulse sitting there and you don't want to be a validator, you can be a liquid staker and do it that way.
Well, I guess the third piece would be the hub, right? Like you can be like a virtual, you can just delegate it that way, right? Like that you can just, you don't need any hardware. Is that right?
That is correct. We would basically do it on our end. We would either, you know, have our own physical hardware and run it up, or we have cloud. And I think, Chris, you were going to say something.
Yeah, we can't forget that we have the RPC services as well. Can't forget that. So that's I would say that's about the third piece, is the RPC services.
You want to cover that real quick?
Yeah, I'm sure people know Gamma in the space, you know, so Gamma, he has that. So if you just click the sign in button, register, you would be able to use our RPC services. We do have a free plan. Anyone can use it. I think it's at 60 to 80 requests per second and about 20,000 requests. We do have different plans, and out of actually every single RPC service, we're the only one that have a student plan, which is it's, you know, like a well-known developer plan of $49.99 or $50 a month. For our student plan is $35 a month. You know, we're really passionate about education, and we want, you know, builders to be building on Pulse chain, and as well as to be able to do that affordably and easily. So yes, we have our physical nodes, RPC services, and our liquid staking. So again, if we had to tie it up in this, we are simply a hybrid node as a service infrastructure company, as well as a liquid staking protocol for Pulse chain.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, hopefully, hopefully everything goes well, and on Pi Day, we'll get, you know, have something to play with, and And then I guess at that point, is that when the rounds, or have the seed rounds or private rounds or otherwise started yet?
Yeah, so they have started. So yeah, the seed run has started. So anyone who's interested, just DM us. And again, our early staking, we're trying to have that out as soon as possible. But again, we're not trying to rush it. We want to make sure everything is good and copacetic, audited, so there's no bugs, so there's no hacks. Because again, we want to make sure that we're building a product on PulseChain that has great tokenomics, no hacks, no seamless, and just one in the community and everyone to win. So yeah, if you want to be part of the seed round, please let us know. We can send you out a form. And if not, early staking will be out soon, to where you can just deposit your tokens and start earning yield on the PPY token.
Gotcha. Awesome. We got before we get to Mr. Fast, we have welcome to the show, Paul Sachs, a longtime viewer. How's it going, Paul?
Hey,
What's
Paul.
going on? Hey, how are you guys doing?
Hey, what's up, Paul?
Hey, how's it going?
Not a whole lot. Just on my way to the gym and figured I'd good opportunity to stop in and say hi.
Yeah, man. You and Fast have been always the quick wit and humor in the chat. Always appreciate it. And yeah, good to see both of you live sometime. It's awesome.
Right.
I've
Good to
seen
meet
Paul
y'all.
in text, but yeah, I guess I still haven't seen him in person, but I can hear his voice. That's cool.
No, yeah, I try to stay in text, especially
It's
after
always good to have competition.
some scenes earlier this week of me and Franklin. A few guys were like, yeah, this is why we've stayed behind the scenes. But anyways, no, just say hello. You guys,
So what do you figure,
you guys
Max?
turn this.
Get started on 2 fucks. Where we
Yes, very much so.
Oh, what were you gonna say, Paul?
Oh no, I was gonna say they turned up the heat for just dropping in and say hi. So no, you guys keep going.
Oh,
Don't mind me.
Worries, man. No worries. All right, Fast Abdul, take it away.
Okay. So myself and my partner, Yellow Cake, we're doing a fork of convex for the Pulse chain. Now I'm going to quantify that quickly just so that it makes sense if anybody looks into it. And maybe you can pull up some screens for us, Max, and we can look at some of these other protocols. We're actually forking something called Aura Finance, which is a fork of Convex. Convex, or rather Aura, works with Balancer on Ethereum. And on PulseChain, the FUX exchange, PHUX, is a fork of Balancer. So what our protocol does is work with FUX. We're called 2 FUX because we give more FUX. The way we do that is we have a large pool of what's called prime FUX. Prime FUX is what gives you a boost on the FUX exchange. Just like on Balancer, they have their Balancer token, and on FUX they have the FUX token. Essentially, you stake that for up to a year, and it's locked for that term, and that'll give you up to a 2.5x boost on your yield when you're doing yield farming via what they call their gauge, but just means incentivized LP pools. So, going from, let's say, 50% APR to 175% APR, if you can get the maximum possible boost. The problem comes in where most people will never be able to get the maximum possible boost, because you'd have to have like an outrageous amount, $300,000, $500,000 worth of prime FUX staked for a year all the time to get that boost. And there might be some exceptions where it would be a lower number, etc. And it depends on a lot of things. It's actually a very complicated calculation to see what the yield is going to be. But generally speaking, our protocol sets it up so you don't have to have $500,000 worth of prime FUX staked. You can just use our giant pool that we'll maintain. And the nature of the protocol is that pool is permanently locked in our ecosystem. It can never be sold. So FUX comes over to 2 FUX. It gets converted, permanently staked through our front end. Still, it ends up in the FUX contract, of course, and it can never be sold as FUX again, right? There is, I guess we could call it a bit of a liquid staking format in that, we have a receipt token that's called Prime 2 FUX that you can sell, right? It's just a token to accumulate yield. It doesn't control the votes or the boost because that part is permanently locked on our ecosystem. But unlike on FUX or like on Balancer, where you have to lock for a year to get the maximum boost, on 2 FUX, you end up with this liquid staking token that you can sell, and it doesn't affect your boost in that respect. So there's, that's one of the components. Max, could you pull up the Fux.io screen?
Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to present or what, but yes, I can.
So I think that'll give us a good idea what we're talking about as far as yield goes. So the concept of like yield, and like, you know, all the pros know that like yield goes down, that's how it is. But when we look at some of these bigger protocols, like it all started with, we'll say Curve on Ethereum, and then Balancer is like next in line, a bit of a fork of Curve in a way. They have systems set up that make it so that their token's not a dump token. So like, unlike the Ink token currently that doesn't have any utility, maybe someday it will, and that would be great for all of us. The FUX exchange pays in the FUX token, and the FUX token has immediate utility because it can be staked to give the voting power, and the voting power determines which pools get the most yield. And then on top of that, the amount you have staked determines what boost you get. Max, if you click on the APR button at the top there, you'll be able to sort those pools by APR, top right. Okay. So, and then let's just scroll down a couple. How about that Shelby Apples pool? Let's click on that. So one interesting thing about Balancer as well as FUX, of course, is that it doesn't have to be 50-50 pools. The proportions can be completely different. It can be 80% of one token and 20% of another token. And it can also have, I believe, up to 8 tokens in one pool, which makes for some very interesting pools. Now, the thing that I like the most is not that, you know, like you could have 8 tokens, you can make weird pools. It's that you don't have to have 50% of one particular token. So when you're thinking about community token, you can do something like have 50%, have 80% of the community token and only 20% of another token like Pulse, for example, to pair it with. So the community doesn't have to sell a large portion of its coins to get both sides of the LP equation, right? So it can be really handy for bootstrapping and so on and so forth. And it helps you make really big dollar value pools, regardless of the situation. So where your mouse is at there, Max, we can see the APR is between 35 and 85%, right? Now, just above that, there's that little sparkly magic looking thing. There you go. Now that gives you the breakdown of what the APRs are and where they come from. So the top number that I can't see because I'm old, 2.28% is the APR from the swaps, right? So that's swap fees. But then the rest of that APR between 33 and 82.88%, that's coming from the FUX tokens that are getting paid out as yield to the people who are working with that pool. So the difference between the 33 and the 82%, that's where 2FUX comes in. If you just go into this pool right now, you get the 2 tokens and the proportions required, you deposit them into this pool, you're going to get 35.43% APR. That'll be like, you know, that'll be where you start. And unless you have a whole bunch of prime FUX staked for a long, long time, you're not getting anywhere close to that 85%. With the 2FUX protocol, you can just bring the very LP token that you would create on the FUX exchange over to 2FUX and just put it in through our front end. And then you get to use our pool that we have. And it's going to get you much closer to that 85%, which is the full 2.5x yield. In every situation, it's not going to hit 2.5x, especially on some of the bigger pools. It's, you know, it can be quite difficult, but it's going to be a lot closer than most people will ever get by themselves. And sometimes it will be, you know, 2.4999x. And that'll be quite possible and maintainable for a lot of people. So when you're talking about a difference in yield of 2.5x, it's like, that's huge, right? And when we look at some of these pools, could we go back to the pool screen, please, Max? If we just, if we scroll down, actually, Max, if you see that where it says filter tokens on the top left-hand side, that little box right there, if you put in CST for Coast, all right? And this should, and there's great utility here, obviously, like they made a nice app. So this shows us all the Coast pools that have the Coast stablecoin in them. Let's take a look at that top pool, because this is crazy, right? Like this is a stable only pool. Now the stable pools operate a little bit different. They don't have exact proportions like the other ones, but look at this math, 30 to 71% on stables right now on the FUX exchange, right? Now, like maybe this number goes down. Let's say it was even 30%. Like you could ride through an entire bear market making 30% APR, but right now you can make 71% APR on just 2 stable coins that are worth $1, right? And like, you know, we can compare that to other tokens in the ecosystem. And obviously you're not going to get any pump on these. They're not going to go to $10. We know that, right? But if you have money, even like for 2 or 3 days, I'm holding on to these stables because I'm waiting for a thing. You know, I'm waiting for, you know, a project to launch and I want to put some money in, but I have, you know, $5,000 just sitting in my wallet. Don't let it sit in your wallet. Put it in something like this, right? Like you make, you know, you'll make hundreds of dollars in a couple days just by using something like this in the meantime. And if when 2Fucks is ready and it's live, you'll be able to be much closer to the 70% rather than the 30%. And then for a final example, could we go back one more time, please, Max? And let's take out the coast. So we'll just X out the little box where you put in coast right there. Okay, and then we'll sort by APR one more time. Okay, and then let's pick whatever the top pool is. Okay, so this probably isn't actually the very highest APR available on Fux right now, because that first pool screens, it only shows the first 20 or 50 pools by volume, like total dollars in them. So there'll be some smaller pools that I know are actually higher APR, but this is a great example because we're 87% to 218% APR. So, and then the trading, the swap fees are 0.52% on this pair. Right. So it's almost nothing in swap fees. It's all coming from the Fux tokens, and it's all coming from the APR that those Fux tokens give. So, you know, like the value is just like tremendous and obvious. And when we look at something like this and we look at this token, I recognize it now. It's RBC Real Big Coin, I believe. I don't know anything about it. I believe it's a meme coin community, but they're, you know, they're strong. They've obviously provided sufficient LP, and likely the founders or some whales in that community, they've invested in making sure that this product gets the APR that it deserves. And that provides a pumpamental for tokens and communities like nothing else, because people in this community, they can provide liquidity, right? And we can see that it's paired with Pulse and Prime Fox, like so 2 other decent coins that, you know, nobody should have a problem holding. If you're happy with the RBC token and the risk there, you're probably okay with holding some Pulse in a LP pair as well. So they can put up those tokens, and we're 80% the RBC token, so they don't have to drain their bags to get the other 20%. And then instead of selling their token or even getting yield on their token in some other manner that comes in the same token that they would have to dump to get that price, they're getting the Fux token, right? And so they can sell the Fux token if that's what they want, right? So they're, you know, yeah, they're dumping another token rather than their community's token, or the Fux token has immediate utility, is stakeable, gives them votes. And in the 2Fux ecosystem, it will, you know, allow them to get an even larger boost on that as well. So, you know, when we look at something like between 88 and 218%, well, most people would be more like a lot happier with 218%, even though 88% is nothing to scoff at. And 2Fux is going to get them close to that. But then the final component, it's actually the most important component, though it's not the most exciting thing to most people, but in the long run, this is where the eyes are going to fall, and this is where the money is going to go to. If we could hit the VE Fux button on the top right-hand side, Max, this is where the voting happens. Okay. Now, Balancer, like on Ethereum, was a bit of a DAO system, and it's cool. Like it, you know, they're basically doing the same thing that Fux is doing. Fux has simplified it a bit. They took out all the boring DAO stuff, and they left the parts that people want to vote on, which is the money and nothing else. Right. So if you scroll down a bit, Max, we'll see the pools that people have a choice to vote on. So these are what they call the gauge pools, or the incentivized pools. If it's not on this list, it's not incentivized. It could still be earning fees, but it's not earning the bonus Fux tokens. Those percentages we see on the right-hand side, that's the percentage of the total Fux VE votes that have gone to these particular pools. And the yield is determined proportionate to those numbers of votes, right? So, you know, more votes means more yield. And of course, the percentage as far as APRs go, that depends on how big that pool, like a very large pool with, you know, let's say $5 million won't have as high APR as a pool with only, you know, $200,000 if they had the same number of votes allocated to that pool. Right. But there's, you know, like regardless, we're dealing with money. It's the only thing you're voting on is money. And people are going to tend to vote in their own interest. They're going to vote for the pools that they're involved in. And even if they weren't like if they had these votes available because they had staked prime fucks, or as the case may be, they were in the 2Fux ecosystem, yielding even more voting power. Even if they weren't doing LP, they would still likely vote for the pools that had tokens that they hold, because increasing the yield on a token you hold makes it so that other people have the option to not sell that token to extract funds. They can take that, they can do the yield farming, they can extract it, right? And without selling the token at all. And then they have additional options, to continuously restake and vote for their token again and again, because the token you get in yield is the FUX token, which will give you even more votes if you stake that for longer terms. Now, of course, a lot of people are going to be resistant for staking something for up to a year, whereas all these LP pools, all these farms we're looking at, they don't have any long-term staking requirement. Like you put the LP token in, you can take it out at any time. There's 0 time commitment. You just press 3 buttons and you're out if that's what you want to do. But with Prime, with 2Fux, we give you the option to stake, basically stake for the year. But again, you get those liquid staking tokens or the equivalent where you be able to sell them if that's what you want to do. And they still stay in our ecosystem. We don't mind at all. You're just giving up the yield that you would have had on those tokens. So those votes matter. And long-term, it's going to be the thing that everybody is talking about. And give that a frame of reference that should resonate with people who understand the math on these things. If we could go to aura.finance, please, Max. AURA.finance. We won't go deep into the app. We're just going to look at their front page. So Aura works with Balancer, right? Balancer has around $1 billion total value locked in it right now, right? At the tip of the bull market, right? So it's going to go way up. It'll probably get to twice that at least. But it's got $1 billion in Balancer, and we can see right here there's $391 million total value locked in Aura. But the really interesting number is that center number, 52.02% of VBAL share. Now, VBAL is the equivalent of it on the Fux page, VE Fux, right? The staked prime Fux. That's the voting power. So Aura Finance has 52% of the vote on Balancer, right? So a lot of people have never heard of Aura Finance, but a lot of people have heard of Balancer. And 52% of the vote is huge, controlling $1 billion worth of pools. There's literally Aura Finance controls billions of dollars in yield every year, and people are they're vying for those votes. They had something that they called the Balancer Wars. Also, previous to that, the Curve Wars on Ethereum, which were whales fighting over these positions for which pools would get the most yield on Curve. And Curve has convex, which is the same as what Aura does here for Balancer. And on the Pulse chain, we have Fux, and soon we're going to have 2Fux. And 2Fux is taking the place of what you see here with Aura Finance. So we're not going to start out with 52% of the Fux votes, I suspect, though it could be a decent number if things work out. But the long term, Aura is only not even 3 years in, and they're at 52% of the votes. I would anticipate a very similar, if not greater, performance for 2Fux, because we're very early getting into the ecosystem, earlier than Aura was. So we should be able to capture a large percentage of votes. And when we think about the value of that, Fux has, I think it's about $27 million total value locked. It's easily the second biggest exchange on the Pulse chain, second only to PulseX. And it's to the extent where it's if you take all the other DEXs underneath and added their how much they have in them together, it wouldn't be even close. It wouldn't even be half of what is on the Fux exchange right now. So we're very happy to tie our wagon to Fux for that reason. I feel, unless something really big changes, 2 years from now, they will very likely be the biggest exchange on the Pulse chain. It's the best place to put stable coins. They're going to have the biggest pools for all those sorts of things. That's already moving towards that. And, depending what happens with PulseX and, how the ink system goes, this is going to be where people look for yield. So, and when they look at Fux, they're going to naturally be drawn to 2Fux because we pay more Fux. That's it. Right. It will be a substantial increase, usually double or more for most people who choose to move their LP tokens over. But the most important thing is that voting power that we're talking about in the center there. And along with the huge yield boost that we'll be able to provide people, we're going to control a substantial quantity of the votes, right? And the votes are straight up worth money, and people will be vying for those votes in one way or another. And one of the things that we're working on is a side project. We've actually pretty much already done it. We've forked it. It's ready. And you guys will probably know it. It's called Hidden Hand. It's basically a bribe protocol on Ethereum, okay? And it allows people to, let's talk
bribes or brides. That's the question.
No brides. No
brides. No brides. Only bribes. Okay.
That's a
just want to make that clear.
So our website is bribery.io, and we have it set up so that we'll be able to sell, buy and sell the votes for fucks, for 2 fucks, and any other VE voting system. So if you guys are making a DAO and you make it a VE voting system, there might be a market for some votes on the bribery.io website. So something to consider. And those votes will go for steady amounts of money in the long term. It'll be up and down quickly, but if we look on Ethereum, people make between 1% and 5% of their bags a month sometimes in selling their votes for bribes. And it's not just a highest bidder system. It's people make bids, and you can go down the list and choose the bid that you want. So you can choose the bribe that aligns with your personal values, making it a very ethical bribe. So, which basically means you choose the bribe that is the pool that you want to boost the yield on, or you can just take the highest bidder and that's fine too. So
I have to ask real quick. Everyone in the chat, I imagine they're wondering, what is a chakra? Align your chakras. What is it? Everyone in here is like, they're afraid to ask. I'm asking, what does it mean?
That's a good point. That's like a yoga thing. They have like 7 gemstones for the chakra. You have various chakras on points of your body, and so on and so forth. And you do the right stretches and you smell the right incense. You align your chakras. So
I'm here to ask some important questions, and that's the one that was literally staring us in the face. So
it's very important. Yeah, but I think that's the gist of it.
Well, the other point then is, how are people giving 2 fucks?
How are they giving 2 fucks?
Well, are they giving 2 fucks? Have you're running a sacrifice, right? Or how's things going there?
The sacrifice is a little slow starting, just because it is a bit of a difficult time. We started the sacrifice about a week before the most recent activity with the SAC wallet coming online and Richard announcing the fight with the SEC. So it was pretty sad days on the Pulse chain. We were all there, and we're still here, which is really the claim to fame at this point. But so people are resistant to sacrifices, which I totally understand. But we've done some things to make this one different. So it's much more like what these other fellows are doing, where it's like we have like a capped sacrifice, right? So it's not unlimited $50 million and you don't know what you're getting. No, we have set tokenomics. We have a capped sacrifice, a maximum amount. If we don't hit the maximum amount, the tokenomics stay the same. The amount that like those sorts of things are not related to the sacrifice. And of course, the sacrifice is for points, and you should expect no profit from the work of others. But the points are distributed in a very fair manner compared to other sacrifices. If we look at some of the previous sacrifices, like in the PH ecosystem, like the Tetra ecosystem that did have caps and set values, a lot of people have done very well on those. So I know there's always a large outcry of no more sacrifices, but like these are words, guys. Like
better sacrifices instead of no more, better sacrifices, maybe. Yeah.
Better sacrifices. That's a good one. But like we got initial coin offerings. We got the paid network where you can throw money at like some random token you've never heard of. I heard somebody was talking about that. But like, why would you go to paid and invest in some crappy video game that's like 1999 graphics with developers you've never heard of, when you could stay on the Pulse chain and participate in products like mine and like the one that these other fellows are launching? Like,
well, I'll tell you why. In the words of the Step Brothers and Will Ferrell, to make bank, bro, to get a Range Rover. Shout out to Step Brothers, one of my favorite movies. Very good.
That's solid.
Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do this, Brendan? I want to make bank, bro. I want to drive a Range Rover. It cracks me up. Real quick though, let me before we get into questions, anything else to say about the project? Then we'll open the questions. No, maybe Chris and Vandell can ask questions, and I got a couple other gentlemen I want to bring in as well. But anything else? Just to.
Do you mind if we just pull up my sacrifice page quick?
Yes, of course.
qfox.io.
Yes.
And then just sacrifice in the top center there.
Didn't read it, but yeah.
So the basics are all here. We're doing some things different that weren't done on any other sacrifice, or very few. So for one, okay, it's capped. It's capped at $2 million, which, like, when you look at the numbers on this protocol, that's nothing. If we don't hit that, that's fine. We were going to launch it without the sacrifice, and we decided that there would be some advantages to the community to have a sacrifice. So, you know, whatever it goes, that's going to be okay. But the bottom line is it's capped at $2 million. The volume bonus is also capped at 25%. Whereas on PulseX, for example, I believe it was a 250% volume bonus, meaning the biggest whale got 250% bonus on its top dollar. We're doing 25%. The reason it's 25% is because then it's not a tax on the poor. Like, sure, if you give $100,000, you're probably going to get a little bit more, but it's not so much more that it wrecks the guy who can only do $500 or $100. We're aware that we don't want to cater to just whales. So, you know, it's whale friendly, but yeah, it's also everybody else friendly in that respect. And then we have a bonus for early sacrificers, but unlike other sacrifices that have given like, oh, first day, first 7 days, first 5 days, you have 5 minutes, you know, that sort of FOMO driven, do it now, dump the rest of your bags, probably hurt yourself and do unreasonable things so you can get in immediately. We're not doing that. We're giving people 60 days, right? And we're about 7 to 10 days into that. You have 60 days to get the best early sacrifice bonus of 25%. And honestly, guys, like, we probably won't go longer than 60 days. Like, it could, but like, you know, we've been working on this for 6 months in development. We just didn't tell anybody for a long time because we wanted to, you know, do it right. And so, you know, when we're ready, we're going to launch this. We might not even make the 60 days when it's ready. The audits will be quick because these products have been audited like dozens of times. Like, we're doing forks of forks and connecting things together. So, you know, an audit is required, but I don't think it's going to be a 3-month audit. It should be fine. So, you know, we have some options there for people to get in. I don't think people should sleep on it, but I think they can DCA. They don't have to be spazzy about it. Like, you know, when it gets close to end, like, yeah, maybe take a close look, but like, yeah, it's there. We're ready. Don't wreck yourself. Check it out. Come into our Telegram room, read the documents, ask the questions. We have voice chats all the time, you know, and we're doing this for the community. And this is a protocol that I want to use myself and that Yellow Cake wants to use himself. Yield farming in the DeFi space is going to be one of the big narratives of this bull market. And we want to be at the front of that for the Pulse chain.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess I was just trying to highlight too. Yeah, the $2 million cap, and then bonus this year. I think you talked about that, and top sacrificers you got here. Well, there's a few that's got tens of thousands. Do you think 60? You said 60 days or up to 2 million. That'll end.
Yeah, like we didn't have a specific end. We just put that bonus is for 60 days. But I kind of did that on purpose so that, you know, people would see, oh, I get a bonus, but hopefully everybody gets the bonus who participates in the protocol. I like the fairness as far as sacrifice points, that, you know, anybody in there, I'd love them all to have virtually the same bonus, regardless of when they came in, you know, and I'd like to work with people in the future who have similar values and want the best for the ecosystem. This isn't a pump and dump. That's not the plan. There'll be way easier ways to do that.
Awesome. Let me bring in a couple other gentlemen here. Crypto Kong and Proof of Beard. What's happening, guys?
Hello. What's going on? How's everyone doing?
Hey, how's
it going?
Yeah, I was just listening in. I think the staked protocol, like staked wrap pulse, I think that's going to be a killer protocol in the bull market, especially if you want to have lots of onboards coming in. I hear lots of people talking just like they like cloud mining and stuff, especially with Bitcoin and stuff. So if we have like a product like that on Pulse Chain with like stake derivative products, I think that'll be interesting because if we want to compete with ETH, we probably are going to have lots of the products ETH has. So it's I think that's a good idea you guys got.
Yeah, greatly appreciate it, Crypto.
Thank you.
I think Beard, Beard has a question for 2Fucks. I believe he's been warming
Well,
up
I've got
the
two
room here.
questions.
Go for it.
The first one is, what if I need 61 days to decide if I want to give you money?
Bribes.
And
Wow.
well, Max,
then either one of two things is going to happen. Either we'll already be launched and you're out of luck, or you won't get to 25% bonus. There's no negotiation at the point.
So if I'm out of luck and it's already launched, can I still give you money?
Well, you can't give me money for a sacrifice because there won't be a sacrifice. But anybody can use our protocol. Right? Anybody can participate in the protocol.
So what if I just want you to give you money?
Oh, just personally? Yeah. Well, we could call that a bribe, and we could work something out.
No, that was the second question. Like, where should I go for my bribe?
Bribery.io. So that's BRIBERRY.io.
Ah, all right.
That's very easy to spell. I'm going to try to type that in a moment.
There's an inside joke here, guys. In that the name Bribery, Proof of Beard came up with that. I put out a questionnaire in CryptoSloth's private chat, and I put up like my 5 best options for like a bribe protocol. I think my favorite was Fast Abdul's House of Bribes or Fast Abdul's Bribe Emporium, and Proof of Beard came up with Bribery.io. That's easy logo, easy branding, and and it was that. And we have a great logo that was really easy. And I have the website. It was a good choice. So I'm glad you're on here.
We can finally properly bribe people, so that's a good thing.
Exactly, that is the plan. And it won't just be for fucks and 2Fucks for bribes. Any DAO system that uses a VE system, we can incorporate their bribes. So, and anybody who's building on the Pulse chain, if you want to take advantage of bribes, just make sure it's a VE voting system. And Bribery.io has your back. And I have your bribes.
That makes complete sense. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Any, I don't think I feel like you covered it fast as far as, actually I was wondering. So the part about being incentivized. So having the 2Fucks, does that give you power? And maybe you covered this, maybe I missed it, but does that give you power to vote? Like, is it actually you're going to be able to go in the interface and then say, okay, I own so much 2Fucks, I'm going to be able to vote and incentivize certain pools. That's what you're talking about before. Like you said, founders may be interested in this because if you're a founder and you want to incentivize a pool, if you get a bunch of 2Fucks, you can have that voting power. Yeah, you want to go through that? Yep.
So like the main concept of of us having the voting power comes from the locked prime fucks that becomes prime 2Fucks when it enters our ecosystem, and it gets wrapped permanently and staked permanently and restaked for the maximum of 1 year all the time, right? And so we end up with this huge pool. Then the votes for that pool are controlled by our native token 2Fucks. So the 2Fucks token, which is staked for 16 weeks, whenever that's staked or locked is what it's called in the protocol. Whenever that's locked, they can use those votes, and it's proportionate to the amount of 2Fucks tokens they have versus the size of the pool. So if there's like a $500,000 pool of prime fucks locked in the ecosystem, they're controlling their share. If they have 10% of the votes, it's like we're controlling $50,000 worth of prime fucks. So it's much more substantial, and the value will be likely much greater than they could get themselves just by buying fucks tokens and staking them. And of course, they're not committed to holding those fucks tokens to get that vote as well. So protocol founders are the ones that should be looking very closely at this, because when you incentivize a pool, you're not just incentivizing it for yourself and your own needs, you're incentivizing it for an entire community. When you make a vote, it goes towards a pool. Anybody who's participating in the pool receives the same additional boost. And if they're using the 2Fucks front end, it'll be very close to the maximum possible. So founders and whales, those are the guys who shouldn't be sleeping on the 2Fucks token in particular, because those votes, if you're controlling hundreds of thousands of dollars in LP, that's the difference between you know, like, yeah, 50% and 175% APR. Like the math is, yeah, very quick and very easy. People should be paying attention.
Well, I like this too. That you know, what made you not call it Maximus Fucks? There's so many different products built on either forked or, you know, pulled products with staking. Is that just kind of a natural evolution of products where you have, if things get so popular, it crowds out the poor people? You know, the regular people, you need to be able to participate and do that. Well, you need another product to then pull the stuff. Is that how you were kind of thinking about it with 2Fucks?
Well, there's two sides to it, right? So there's like the everyone side, which is the staking, and then there's the whale side or the founder side, where it's like controlling the votes, and like the little guys will still be able to control votes, and that'll be interesting to them. Like, because, you know, if you control even 0.1%, it'll be like something like 10 times more than if you'd done the same on the Fux exchange. But the staking, getting that 2.5x boost, you don't even have to have the 2Fux tokens to do that. You can just come use our front end. You'll end up with some 2Fux. There's some additional yield that comes in that token. So you'll end up being part of the ecosystem, and you can stake that. You can get those votes. But anybody on day one, when the protocol launches, all they have to do is unstake their LP on Fux, and they don't have to unravel it or anything. Just unstake it. They still hold the LP token and then stake it on 2Fux. That's it. And then their yield will be increased based on our pool rather than their pool. So it's, you know, it's fairly simple, and there's no barrier to entry. Like, you could have $50 worth of LP, and because the fees on the Pulse chain are so reasonable, of course they're going to go up, but like for years now, I think you're going to be able to move around $50 in LP and not have it cost you prohibitive amounts of money like it would on Ethereum. And so, like, yeah, if you can make 150% APR and $50, do it. And we're there for that. You know, it's everybody is welcome, and there's no barrier to entry.
Interesting. Yeah, you guys have any other questions on 2Fucks? Anybody on the panel? I don't see any more in chat right now.
I'm an awesome project, and I'm following you. I'm super excited what you guys are going to do. So I'll definitely, you know, Chris not being founders are definitely going to be, you know, looking at you guys.
Yeah. No, we should have a chat sometime, because projects like yours, and I'm particularly interested in the liquid staking thing, right? Because this is like a total excellent chance to like have your cake and eat it too. You could have a liquid staking token that's pooled, like has an LP token, 80% your token, like liquid staking Pulse paired with 20% actual Pulse on the Fux exchange. And just to be clear, and I should have gone through this earlier, but like, we do not control the Fux exchange. That's a separate team, right? We're friendly with them. They understand what we're doing. We're fully aware. We communicate a lot, but it's a totally different team. They're the ones who decide which pools get gauges. But if you can get a gauge on Fux with your liquid staking token that's, you know, has yield wrapped into the token, and then on top of that, people can use 80% that token and only 20% Pulse or Fux or some other, you know, very liquid token. There's a very excellent opportunity to double dip on yield in a crazy way. And yeah, I like how that math will look.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, I think Colin wants to share some data. So Colin, if you want to share your screen or otherwise talk about it, feel free.
Yeah, I'll put up some stuff on my screen here. So one thing I've been looking at is the liquidity. So as we know, in cryptocurrency, it's a bit different than stocks, where in stocks you have like a bid and ask spread. So you have someone who wants to sell, they have an ask price, someone who wants to buy, they have a bid price. And once you have two people that kind of meet, then you have an order that gets executed. Now in crypto, it's a bit different. We have these automated market makers, meaning that there's liquidity pools decentralized where me, you, anyone can put our coins up to trade for other people to interact with. Now, one thing that's interesting is that the only thing that price cares about is supply and demand, meaning that the amount of tokens either coming into this pool or the amount of tokens coming out of this pool. So an interesting data point that I've been looking at hexfire.io is the liquidity on EHEX specifically, because I think if we take a look at even the past couple of days with this past little bit of pump we've had, EHEX has been it's been raising its ratio against Pulse, meaning that it's kind of outperforming a lot of the other assets here on Pulse chain. If you look at the liquidity here on Ethereum, this is just for the past 6 months where I've timed out this graph, But this liquidity in HEX, it's gone from over 200 million to now we're trailing closer to 100 million. So the amount of HEX that's on the market available to be bought is actually decreasing. So just because we're looking at price and price is down, maybe that's because demand is down. But assuming, like, let's say we had the same amount of demand that we did during 2021 SAC phases and like the whole bull market mania. Let's say we had that exact same amount of demand, just because now we have less supply in these automated market makers, at least on the Ethereum side, what you'll see is a higher price because it's all supply and demand. So even if we zoom out this chart here, we can see this trend in terms of liquidity has been going down pretty much ever since HEX has been born, meaning that in terms of the amount of HEX that's available to be purchased on the market has been continuously going down, meaning that it might not look like it because HEX is inflating and like we have T-shares, right? Like we're getting HEX paid out every single day and it is inflating, but in terms of the actual market where you could purchase it, it's actually technically deflating a little bit in terms of the amount of HEX being able to purchase. On top of that, there's a couple other data points. Like if we're looking at staker adoption and holder adoption, so we know Metcalfe's law. This is just an easy like cryptocurrency, not even cryptocurrency metric, just a metric that measures the value of a network. So the network effect, right? So if one person has a cell phone, it's practically useless because you can't call anyone. But if everyone in the world has a cell phone, that's a very useful device, right? Because now you have a communication center across the entire world. This is what cryptocurrency is. It's an international communications network, right? And here we can transfer value. Maybe we can transfer NFTs, which are like artwork. Maybe we can transfer text, phone calls, maybe not phone calls. We'll see what happens. But I think you could send Bitcoin over like radio waves and stuff. So we'll see where the technology takes us. But in terms of the network effects, what we're seeing here is staker adoption and current holders both going up and to the right. So these are key metrics in terms of when you're looking inside of the system, because if the only thing you're looking at is the price chart, it looks down right now. Maybe not so much in the past couple of days, just as of like recently, which is really nice. But if you're looking at the internal metrics rather than just the price chart, what you're actually seeing is a lot of these charts continuously go up and to the right. And if you're looking at things like T-share stats, so we know T-share rate, it continuously goes up and to the right forever. So as people are ending their stakes, that's going to increase share rate, meaning that the amount of HEX I received from my T-shares, I'm not going to be able to recompound that for more shares. So that makes it essentially so the older guys can get paid a little bit more, and the newer guys, it's a little bit harder for them to get paid, assuming that they have like the same amount of base HEX, because the T-share rate will run away from you. The other thing is the total amount of T-shares. So we know that HEX inflates at 3.69% a year. Now that's like a fixed annual inflation rate, and every single year it inflates a little bit more and more and more and more. Because the inflation is delegated to the future, and we're not seeing lots of the inflation come out immediately, like maybe with some other coins that like maybe there's airdrops and like the inflation can hit the market as of right now. Maybe HEX, lots of these T-shares are locked up for an average of like 6, 7, 8 years. So lots of this inflation isn't going to come out to the market for a long time. Not only that, once you have more inflation and you have more tokens in the system, so right now the supply of HEX I think is 650, 660 billion-ish, I think. So maybe it's 600 million or 600 billion, one of those numbers. But either way, once we see the inflation rise and that total number of circulating tokens rise, you're going to start to see T-shares get paid more inflation in terms of HEX. So let's say you had 800 billion tokens in circulation. Now the T-shares are getting paid 3% of that 800 billion instead of, let's say, 600 billion. So you're getting paid a little bit more inflation. On top of that, share rate increases gradually up and to the right forever, meaning that there's going to be less T-shares in circulation, because the only way the share rate really increases is when T-shares leave circulation. So you're going to have a higher supply with the same fixed amount of inflation. But if you have a higher number with the same percent increase, you're going to have a greater percent in terms of like HEX inflation, in terms of like HEX units, I guess you could say. And if that's being distributed to less HEX stakers, what you're going to see is HEX payout per T-share. It's going to start rising astronomically right before our eyes. And if you multiply that by price appreciation, because this is the whole point with HEX, right? You not only are able to mine and stake, or whatever you want to call it, you can earn interest on your actual HEX itself. You don't need to purchase mining hardware or stuff like that. But you can also make insane price appreciation. Like last cycle, it went up 1,000,000% before staking, right? So if you had staked, if you were like a good hexkin, I guess you could say, you stake some of your coins, even if it was for the bull market, maybe you made 100% more token or 50% more token times a 10,000x. That puts you 15,000x, right? So when you take interest, like I guess we'll say yield, and you multiply it by price appreciation, especially in terms of HEX, because we see HEX for the most part outperform most other cryptocurrencies. And I think that's what we're hoping for this cycle. But I think right before our eyes, we're going to see this T-share become unobtainable for the average person, just because when you're looking at the price chart right now, you can't see these metrics. Like you can't see all of the internal metrics if the only thing you're looking at is price, because the T-share is down, right? But as soon as all of these internal metrics that you can see if you look at the data kind of like kick into place, like T-share rate kicks up, the amount of T-shares in circulation starts to deflate, right? Once you start to see all these things kick off and HEX has a crazy run up in the bull market, we're going to see insane things happen to the T-share. But you have to be paying attention, because like I said, if you're only looking at the price chart, that's the only thing you care about, that's the only thing you're going to see. But once you're internally in these systems, you can see different things. Now, another thing, where is the tab? Uniswap info. So this is the HEX USDC pair on Ethereum. I think this is the one. No, this is the 0.3% pool. But if you look at the liquidity, most of it's up here at like 3 cents, meaning that once this hits 3 cents, right now, if you wanted to buy on Ethereum, you're going to face big slippage. On this pair, I guess you could say, you're going to face more slippage, rather than once you hit 3 cents, the liquidity starts to thicken up, meaning that there's people who are wanting to either purchase or sell HEX at this price point, but people are paying attention to HEX. They're waiting for the price to increase. They're kind of pricing these things in ahead of time. And this is exactly what you're seeing here on the liquidity chart, is people are pricing the HEX price ahead of time right before your eyes. And if the only thing you're looking at is spot price on Dex Screener, you're not going to see this. So yeah, just a couple of interesting HEX data points I thought I'd share. If anyone wants to like put their take in on that, that'd be great.
Wow, super interesting.
One thing I wasn't really clear
Proof,
on.
yeah, go for it.
Were you saying that the inflation is based on the circulating supply, or was it just you saying something in mix?
So I think the it's a fixed inflation rate based from the circulating supply, right?
No, it's total supply. Doesn't
Total
really matter.
supply. I think yeah, that's what I meant. My bad. But yeah, just
Yeah, okay.
the
I just
supply
wanted
of
to be
HEX.
sure it doesn't really matter what's circulating. It's just the system's inflation is 369 on everything, and that just gets divided on all the stakers.
Exactly. And I think
Yeah.
like when we're talking about circulating supply, I guess you may or may not count OA coins or not. Like I don't exactly know.
No, you
how-
do.
You do. You do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nomics didn't.
Nomics didn't.
But yeah, you do, because they can be moved.
And
And
I
then-
think you're supposed to as well, because I know Bitcoin and CoinMarketCap, they account for Satoshi's coins, which have never moved. So those are counted for circulating supply.
There's a guy in the chat who's wearing yellow socks, and he's asking who's inflating the supply. Well, the code does. So
Who
and
wrote the code to
Yeah,
inflate supply?
the guy who made HEX.
Yeah, so Richard Hart, the founder,
Devs,
had
yeah.
devs, yeah, and he just hired them to basically make a fixed inflation rate. So I think
You know, the gods that make this world.
Well, to the point, I mean, maybe let's assume it was a serious question. Who's inflating the supply? Yeah, you guys want to take that?
it's just the smart contract itself is minting tokens out of thin air and then distributing them to T shareholders or HEX miners, however you want to say it.
I regret nothing. Nailed it.
Yeah, where are
Wow.
these devs? I don't know, man.
Devs, do something. I think
There's
devs did do
somewhere
something
in my
the last
head,
few
yeah.
days. It certainly seems like we're into the green candles. Yeah. No, great stuff, man. Yeah, you guys got anything more
Yeah, it was
on
good.
The HEX Liquidity, EHEX? Hate it or love it, it seems bonded with a lot of things and doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. Its death has been way overestimated so far.
You know, one thing that I really wanted to say is you have the Hexfire chart of the estimated T-share rate. And the funny thing is that that's not even speculation. That's just baked in the code. And then that's the minimum rate, which is funny to me. It can only go up harder than that.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I think that's calculating if all like the system just stays the same and no one else comes in, like how it'll play out, right?
That's crazy, isn't it?
And that's a big assumption. So that's a very like conservative ask, basically, if the system stays the exact same. So yeah, Hex is interesting. I think if once you take a deeper dive into the stuff, like you really start to understand like why everyone in this community is bullish. Even this community itself, like we have awesome builders, like even on this call stream right here, like we have tons of founders, tons across the board on PulseChain. You don't see this in most of any other communities, right? So just the fact that we have brought all these different people together and we can like talk about cryptocurrency, Hex, RH tokens, PulseChain, we're all building, we're all trying to make the world a better place. I think it's not many other cryptos have this exact same, I guess, network effect that Hex will and does to this day. So
Hell yeah. Yeah, this is a good place to be, guys. That's pretty
I love
cool.
Hexago. I loved Hexago last year. I loved Hexago in 2019 for that month it existed. I don't know. I guess you could say, but even before Hex, the community was, that's the funny thing. It's like 18 months before Hex even got launched, this community came together. And I mean, I wasn't public in it at the time, but I was definitely around for AA and otherwise and following Richard before that. And it was just amazing to see how he got these people with shared values to come together and just not give up on something that they know is true and right and real DeFi. So super fun, guys. Kong, anything else on here?
I think that's all. I think we're in the right community, the right place. We're gonna see a lot of the pieces of the puzzle kind of connect here, and I think the next coming years, it's exciting news with Richard Hart fighting the SEC now. I know people who genuinely thought he was just either hiding or something bad was gonna happen, like something like that. You know what I mean? So it's nice to have, like, I guess, clarity from Richard Hart himself, and he turned on comments. So I guess there's a couple indicators there. So yeah, everything's kind of like the sentiment changes very quickly in this ecosystem is one thing I noticed. Like one week everyone's sad, everyone's trying to like hop onto the new shiny object, and then the very next week everyone's right back to bridging all their money over from Ethereum. So
wow,
yeah, interesting.
Don't count us in too much. There's still plenty of people they'll see Hex do a 2x, from all-time lows and be like, nope, still needs something else is better. Let me find something else, doing their best not to buy Hex. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I already sold everything again.
Yeah,
and did it 2x. I
sold
sold it on a double.
So, you know what? I think a lot of people sold it on a negative 98%, and they're like, no more skin in the
You have to
game.
sell minus 50% and then buy back the double.
Yeah. 100x to 10,000x, 10,000x. No, man, I don't want that. I want the new thing. Give me the new thing. Give me the new thing. Give me the new thing. Yeah. So, anyways, let me bring up one more thing before. Let's see. I don't want to remove. Okay, cool. I didn't want to remove you. I just want to move your screen for a second. I'll bring this up. We'll end on this one, gents. Great stream. I had a lot of fun myself here, just getting to go through with.
Yeah, it was nice.
You all. So, just your reactions. Again, the last few days have been just beautiful. Of course, where else could we go after going down so much? Some would say there's only one place to go, but yeah, lots of good news, lots of green candles. We'll go from top to bottom, starting with Vandal, ending with Proof of Beard. Your reaction, your quick reaction, and we'll take it off from here.
Yeah. Again, thank you for having us on. Again, we're here for the community. We want to build an awesome product. Sound tokenomics. We're not sacrificing. We're doing the traditional fundraising round. Very bullish on Pulse. That's why we're building it. Chris and I saw a lot of things that we were troubling. So, we just wanted to build out the solution and have us use it and have it for the community.
And do you like green candles?
Oh, I love green candles, man. I love green candles, and I love pie as well too. So green candles and pie is that's what I love. So
I think we're gonna get along. I love pie. Maybe I can go find some pie somewhere now.
what's your favorite pie?
Oh man, so many.
I know. Top 3. What's your top 3?
I'm gonna go top 3. Yeah, cherry, pumpkin, and pecan.
Okay. I think for me, can't go wrong with apple pie. I love cherry pie. And my wife is actually Korean. I did not like this before, but I actually like sweet potato pie. Sounds disgusting, but it's actually.
No, I'm in for it, man. I like sweet potato pie.
That doesn't sound.
That's in my top 5, maybe.
Sounds pretty good.
Beard, if you didn't make this intro, I'll tell you you're wrong, but you did. So it got to be nice. Sweet potato pie is delicious, in my opinion, in me and Vandel's opinion, and me and everyone else. Everyone else likes except you. We'll say that. Speak up if you don't. Awesome, man. Awesome. Fast Abdul.
Everything is coming together in the perfect storm of green candles on the Pulse chain. We have Richard fighting the SEC with $15 million worth of lawyers. We have the SAC wallet, which no one knows who controls that, but it's buying on the Pulse chain actively, like a lot. We have people looking at the Pulse chain. I think we're going to see like centralized exchanges holding Pulse, probably some other big tokens. I think, some of those Pulse-based stable coins are going to start showing up on other chains wrapped, and that all leads back to one place, and that's the Pulse chain. And then on the other side of the equation, we have things like Ethereum, that the price continues to go up, the fees continue to go up. People are going to come to the Pulse chain. And when we start talking about things like yield, right? Well, we have these fellas have like a way cheaper way to, be a validator. It's like compared to 32 ETH on Ethereum. Well, that's a huge advantage. And then when we start to talking about yield protocols that are good and strong and sustainable, like 2Fux working with the Fux ecosystem, right? Like the low fees make everything possible. You can have 50 different pools. You can move around $10. There's so much you can do to earn yield on the Pulse chain. And it's, like we're coming into the bull market. It's going to be a top at some point, probably, like a year or two down the road from now. But even after that, the Pulse chain is bear market proof because of those low fees, and the yield that comes in with low fees will carry people through the bear market. So yeah, if 2026 is the top and you get out of some, take some profit, and then you put that profit in something like stable coins, and then you can make 30 to 50 to 70% on those stable coins for 2 years in a bear market until the next bull, man, like this is where billionaires are made. So thank you, Richard, for that. Thank you, community. We have so many strong influencers and builders. It's really a pleasure to be amongst so many smart people. Try going to another cryptocurrency community. Try Doge, whatever.
No, I can't.
It's terrible. No. Yeah, it's immediately.
They don't take RHMax over there.
Nope. They won't take you. Yeah, you're banned.
Good.
But
good.
They don't understand anything compared to what like the average hexakin and pulsekin understands. Right. And I'm not talking just like builders, but even their builders, like people who make meme coins in Ethereum, like don't know what hardware wallets is. Like, this community is amazing. And I'm very happy to build and push it to the next level. So we've picked the missing piece, which is the fork of Convex that the Pulse chain doesn't have. That's the biggest missing piece left on the Pulse chain by total value locked. We're going to fill that spot, and we're happy to do it. Thanks for having us, Max.
Of course. And do you like green candles?
I do like green candles.
Okay, just checking in. Some people, they're indifferent, so just wanted to check.
Lemon meringue pie is my favorite.
Yeah, okay, now we got to say your favorite pie at the end of it too. Yes, that's a good pie. That's a good pie.
I like it. Yeah.
Man, I want the sweet potato pie now. Damn, you implanted the idea, Vandale. You did it. Now I want to go find one somewhere. I don't know where we're going to find one right now, but you have to wait till Pi Day. Chris, what you got?
Yeah, so first and foremost, thank you, Max. It's an honor for us to actually be able to come on here and just share what we're doing. Okay, my top 3 is apple, cherry, and does pot pie count? chicken pot pie.
We'll take it. It could be savory. It could be savory. We'll take
Yeah,
it.
so those are my three. Sweet potato pie is pretty good too, though. But I do love green candles. I would say shout out to our mentor Marlon Williams. Founder of the Atlanta Blockchain Center, where Vandell is right now. He has basically brought us up. Very amazing guy. Just to talk to us and make sure that we, challenges us, asks us the deep questions, being able to figure out how to make our business better. And, shout out to the PulseChain Foundation as well. And yeah, I agree with Abdul. It's just like, it's an amazing community. Everyone in here is very knowledgeable. The individuals that we met on the PulseChain cruise, it was a pleasure meeting you all. I saw SJ say hi to us. Hey, SJ. But yeah, had a great time. This was an awesome stream. Thank you.
Of course. Crypto Kong. You know the rule. You heard everyone else go first. You know what we're expecting now.
So yeah, my reaction to the chart is I saw a Twitter post or an X post, and it said, "We take the elevator up, but the stairs down." And I think that's true, right? So it's really exciting now that we have green candles and we see it really coming in, like the parabola starting to form maybe. So I think that'll be interesting to see how this pulse chain ages in this next year or two, and how the regulatory clarity sort of clears itself up in terms of the SEC and Richard. But I think I was saying this last time, maybe the SEC was like a blessing in disguise somehow in the future. Like maybe we look back and maybe it gave us like media coverage that we could have never imagined or something, like in a good way or a bad way. Maybe it resonates to the chart in a good way or something like that. So we'll see what happens, but I think green candles are good, and us Hexkins, we take the elevator up on the chart. So that's my take on the wrap pulse price, I guess.
Nice. Elevator up, I like it. Proof of Beard also made the intro and the outro, you may call it, and the channel art, and he did a whole package. It seems like forever ago, but it wasn't that long ago. So yeah, always everyone always asks about it. I always tell them this guy named Proof of Beard, I forget what your Twitter name is too.
Proof of
maybe
Beard.
Is it?
I made it easy. Yeah.
You consolidate? Okay. It's something else before. I was like, it's one of those, just search for him. He's awesome. Anyways, sir, glad you could join us today. And this is your turn.
Grandma's apple pie, but specifically my grandma's. So I'm sorry, guys.
Can you tell us the ingredients or the main ingredients?
I believe it's apple.
It's apple based.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I think it's apple. Yeah.
I'll take it.
And yeah, this is nice. Green candles. Well, we have red candles now, so I think it's all over now. But soon we have green candles again, and so
everyone got to sell at sack price. Nobody lost any money, and now it's time to go home. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a nice space. Everything comes together, and over the past 2 years, everyone has been shouting all kinds of different narratives and all kinds of different viewpoints, but in reality it doesn't really matter. We're still doing the right thing. You can just see it in the community. Everyone keeps on building, and as long as everyone keeps on building, nothing is gonna go bad, because we just keep on building better stuff. So I'm very happy to see that.
Build better stuff.
Yeah,
like build back better, but build better stuff.
Yeah, just build better stuff. Yeah. I know I've had through the bear market, I've just honed on my skills and tried to make better videos for the community, and I'm very happy that I can still do that. So if anyone also needs some video work done or whatever, just reach out to me, because I'm always happy to help this community. I always tell people outside of crypto, in the outside scary world, I always tell them I can't really go back to normal work anymore, because all the clients suck compared to everyone in the community. So I'm happy to stay here in this cozy living room with all these faces on the screen. It's really nice to have everyone in the community. It's definitely the best community I've ever come across. So that's it's really cool. Yeah. So I guess the best way to close this off is with one of my favorite videos I made. I think I still really like watching it back. It's really cool.
Me too. And it never gets old. Literally, I probably did. It's got to be around 200 streams with this package, and it never gets old.
It still works, man. It
still works. Yeah, it's amazing. All right. Oh, and just quickly shout out. Boom, Hedron. Icos has been going crazy lately. I'm gonna wear this shirt today. So shout out to them. All of you bag holders and stakers. For the past while, I've been getting beaten down. But if you don't look at the USD chart, if you look at the compared against HEX, it looks a little better. I know that doesn't help, but however, huge run lately. So congrats on that. Love all the HEX derivatives, all the products built on HEX. So amazing. All the good ones leased. So everyone, that's all we got for you today. Again, yeah, I think we got all the information for all the projects as far as I know. We brought the websites, talked through that. Kong shared some excellent EX information, liquidity stuff as well. And Beard was here for commentary and just to make sure that he gave a shout out to himself. So appreciate that. And actually, Beard, I've been trying to get you on the show forever, man. I'm glad you finally.
Yeah, that's why I thought, okay.
Are you in a time zone? Are you okay right now? Like you're here and you're not asleep?
Yeah, I'm okay. It's late, but I got home late and I saw you were actually. I was in the car and I was listening to your previous live stream, and then you said I'll be live in a few hours, and I was like, nice. I wonder what time that would be, and then I looked up and it's like, oh, he's live now. Okay, cool.
I literally say that sometimes. I'm like, I wonder if anyone actually comes because I mentioned it early in the day.
Yeah,
and
I did.
There's one. I'm 1 for 1. Awesome, man. Well, good to see you. Really? Always good to talk. I remember I have fond memories of starting off making memes with you. Made some great memes and thumbnails. And then we went on to what other skills do you have? What other skills do you have? And then you're like, oh, I can make the videos. And then it was all an elevator from there. So
I can do a lot of things, guys.
Yeah, this
especially
dude's
visually. I tried to push myself in a way that digitally I can make anything visual that anyone would ever want. Like if you can think it, I can probably make it or figure out how to make it. So yeah, I kind of want to push myself towards that. Like whatever you want whatever you have in your brain, I can probably put it out there.
You did it several times and excellent.
I try it.
You have a portfolio to show for it, man. So everyone, that's all we got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We're out.